So, UEFA Champions League semi-final, Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich. Oh, this is a brilliant game. Brilliant game. Big game to watch. In my opinion, it's the two best teams in Europe right now. If you look at their current form, if you look at the way they play, if you look at how good they are, especially in attacking wise, how good they've been as a team this season. And yes, you could say, oh, but these two teams play in leagues that they easily win, etc. But if you look at their performances in the Champions League this season against the other big teams coming from more competitive leagues, and also how good PSG, especially were last season, you have to say this Paris Saint-Germain side and Bayern Munich are the two best teams in Europe right now. If you said to me who's the best two teams right now in Europe, let's say 5-6 months ago, you could make a strong argument Arsenal to be in that bracket. But because of Arsenal's form recently, and also how well PSG have improved as well, because let's not forget PSG, they're not having a great start to the season, especially they lost the opportunity to qualify for the last 16 automatically to finish in top 8 when they lost to Sporting Lisbon. But after that, they improved. I would say after the loss against Stade Rennais, I think not Stade Rennais. It was one of them, Stade Rennais, or when they lost to Monaco at home in the French league. I think their performances after that have really improved. Yes, they played against two sides where you're like, they're not that great and unconvincing compared to Paris Saint-Germain's Paris Saint-Germain's standards. Chelsea side that is, were rotten to the core under Liam Rossinier, a Liverpool side who've been very poor this season. So this is another thing for PSG, that they face a test that they haven't faced, a new level of test PSG haven't faced this season compared to Liverpool and Chelsea. However, the PSG played against Bayern Munich in the league phase, and Bayern Munich beat them, especially Bayern Munich with down to 10 men. But obviously, playing in the league phase is completely different to playing in the knockout stages. Knockout stages where it's actually more at stake, and there's more expectation on you to deliver and more pressure on you to deliver. So, but you look at this Paris Saint-Germain side, they obviously the defending champions, they're the defending European champions, and they've shown that obviously over 2 games against Liverpool, they've shown that over 2 games against Chelsea, that they still got it. They still have that hunger, they still have that desire. It's not like it's a team where they're like, yeah, we won the Champions League last season, so that's it. Yeah, we'll forget about it this season. We can rest on our laurels, or rest on our bellies. I'm trying to invent too much words, but PSG, like over 2 games against Chelsea, they were fantastic. Over 2 games against Liverpool, they were fantastic as well. Maybe the second game against Liverpool, where I felt like Liverpool gave a decent fight to Liverpool gave a decent fight to Paris Saint-Germain over the first 60, before Dembele scored the first goal. I thought maybe you could say Liverpool gave a good fight to PSG. And let's not forget, this PSG side, let's say they've been more vulnerable this season, in my opinion. Because if you look at, even though they've improved, since the Monaco game, they still, you could still see there's still some deficiencies. For example, they lost to Lyon at home this season, a week ago, basically. So, yeah, and it's not they lost a couple of home games. Let's not forget, they lost at home to Monaco, they lost at home to Lyon, they lost at home to, I think they lost at home to somebody. They lost at home to Bayern, obviously, in the Champions League, but I believe they lost to somebody in the French league. Let me check. They lost in the Coupe de France to Paris FC. So, this PSG side haven't been, I won't say as outstanding as they were last season. I won't say this PSG side is better than last season, or is yet to be proven that this PSG side is better than last season. But if you look at the results, they've had some problems here and there, and especially early in the season where they were not having a good start to the season. But obviously, it's about how you finish the season. It's not about how you start or where you. It's not as I think Enrique said after they lost to Bayern Munich in the league phase. It's not about where you are ranked in November, October. It's about what you do in February, March, April, May, because this is where the crunch time comes, and this is a crunch time for both clubs, PSG and Bayern Munich. Vitinha should play in this game. I mean, you've seen in the training, so he should play in this game, and he's a very, very crucial player for Paris Saint-Germain. More than crucial actually. Fabian Ruiz just got back from injury as well. He played against Angers, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did play against Angers. So, yeah, maybe he should play in this game as well. A doubt maybe PSG have is that maybe Desire Doué might not start the game. It might be him or Barcola. So I do expect Vitinha to play. I do expect Fabian Ruiz to play. If not, then they could bring in Zaire Emery, who's they have another good backup solution in that midfield with obviously Joao Neves, Vitinha. And obviously they've got the right side, Zaidu or Barcola alongside obviously Ousmane Dembele and Kubica Kvaratskhelia. You look at this Paris Saint-Germain side. Obviously, a lot of people, including me, have been waxing lyrical about them, and rightly so, because this PSG side is a fantastic side. It's a top quality side, and they've made some changes to this Paris Saint-Germain side have made some changes compared to last season. For example, obviously Donnarumma leaving and Savinov replacing him. I would say they've made some changes attacking tactically wise, but still they're still a very good team. They're still a team that can punish you ruthlessly, and a team that like to control possession, like to create chances and cause you problems. And they play as a team. They play as a proper team. They're not like a bunch of individuals that just play for themselves. They play like a proper team. This is something that a PSG problem they used to have in the past with obviously Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. But right now, last season, this season, they play as a team. You see Kubica Kvaratskhelia, you see Ousmane Dembele, you see Desire Doué, tracking back all the time. And I was there to even witness it in person, obviously, when I watched the game against Paris Saint-Germain against Marseille in the Trophée des Champions. And all the players were tracking back. I mean, Mendes and Hakimi were attacking, and Marquinhos was attacking as well. Whereas Dembele and Kubica Kvaratskhelia sometimes were defending. I mean, all the team, like all the players contribute. All the players contribute, and that's a true foundation of a success that you need to have a big football team like Paris Saint-Germain, especially if you want to win the big competitions. So, yeah, and you look at this Bayern Munich side as well. I mean, Vincent Kompany is suspended for the game, and he's suspended because obviously he picked up a couple of yellow cards. So his super harsh suspension for the match plays out will be that he will travel with the squad for the match against Paris Saint-Germain, but must separate from the team on arrival. No dressing room access or any communication with players' staff allowed. Can handle media duties only if there is no team contact. Will watch from a private box with a UEFA official supervising. Phone communication is strictly banned. I mean, that's very, very harsh. That's very, very harsh. I mean, it's a similar suspension to what Jose Mourinho had, I think, back in 2005 when he was the Chelsea manager again, when they were facing Bayern Munich. We all know how he approached that suspension. Is Vincent Kompany going to do a similar thing where he's going to be in the laundry box? He was asked about that question, by the way, in a press conference, and he said, "No, I can't fit into the laundry box." But it will be very crazy if companies do something like Mourinho did back in 2005. But that's going to be very unlikely. I don't think company would do that. But that's a very harsh suspension. Like, I know UEFA have a habit of doing this, as I just said. They did that to Mourinho in 2005, but like, really? Come on. You don't. Really, that's a very harsh suspension. Like, managers, when they're banned from the touchline, they're not banned from to that level extent, as for example in the Premier League or La Liga or other leagues. So, but anyway, um, yeah, Bayern Munich, I mean, it's not ideal that they're not going to have company on the touchline, but at the same time, they're a very quality team. They're a quality team. Again, this is a different one to call because similar to PSG, they play as a team by Munich. They defend, they track back, they attack. They're a fantastic team. They've got quality players, especially attacking wise. I think they're more ruthless in attack than PSG by Munich. Likes of Harry Kane, Musiala, Ulisse, Luis Diaz. They've got top quality players in the attack that can punish you, brutally. However, they've got a mistake in them defensively. Neuer can make mistakes, especially as he did against Real Madrid. I would say defensively they've improved compared to the past, but still there's still some deficiencies there. Stanisic has been absolutely fantastic for Bayern Munich this season. So has Pavlovic. They're going to be key for Bayern Munich in this game. Kimmich, obviously, you could say he's the heart and soul of this team as a midfielder. I mean, the guy attacks, the guy defends, he can do everything. He's a bit like Philip Lahm, as some Bayern Munich fans like to compare him to. But he's a fantastic player, and you can make a strong argument that he's the best defensive midfielder in the world right now, alongside the likes of, let's say, Declan Rice, Pedri, João Neves. So yeah, but he's going to be very key for Bayern Munich. Pavlovic is going to be very key. It's going to be key also how both teams defend also, because sometimes defensively. That can be because obviously Mendes and Hakimi will for sure attack. So what kind of spaces they're gonna leave out, especially when Bayern Munich have the ball, and the same thing goes to Bayern Munich when they try to attack. What kind of spaces they leave out when PSG have the ball. And yeah, you look at this Bayern Munich side. I mean, since Vincent Kompany came in 2024, 2 years ago. Obviously, he was ridiculed because obviously he was, relegated with Burnley, and people were like, "Oh, why is he bringing him in? He's relegated with Burnley. What are you doing?" And you look at the job he's done. He's done quite well actually. He's done very well. He got Bayern Munich back to winning Bundesliga, especially after they lost to Leverkusen 24 season. They've improved in the Champions League, even though they've had many seasons since they won under Hansi Flick 2020, the last time they won the Champions League. They've had many seasons where they've been knocked out in the quarterfinals, except the 2024 season where they reached the semi-final but lost to Real Madrid. So yeah, I mean, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, for a club like Bayern Munich, they've only won 6 Champions Leagues. I think they should have won more than that, in my opinion. Especially for a big club like Bayern, they should have won more than that. And for a club like Bayern Munich to go 6 years without winning a Champions League, I don't think it's something Bayern Munich fans would accept. So yeah, but they're trying to change that this year, and I think they have a very good chance of doing that. They've got players who are capable. If Bayern Munich win the Champions League, and let's say one of those players have a great World Cup, they have a great chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. You look at the likes of Harry Kane, how he's evolved as a player, not only attacking wise and scoring goals, but also dropping deep, contributing, assisting wise. Olise, coming from Crystal Palace, has been absolutely terrific for Bayern Munich. Musiala obviously came back from that horrific injury he had in the Club World Cup, but he looked against Mainz. He was fantastic, and on Saturday, and he could be a key player for Bayern Munich in this game as well. Luis Diaz has been very good for Bayern Munich since he came in as well to the club. So yeah, I mean, and you obviously have other players like quality players like Kimmich, etc. So yeah. Bayern Munich have got some injuries though, the likes of Gnabry, who's not going to be in the squad. He's not in the squad actually, so yeah. But I think this is a 50-50 game. I think this is a game that could go both ways. It's really difficult to say because both teams defensively can be, contact, but both teams are brilliant going forward. So this is a really tricky game to call. Really, really tough to call. I mean, is a really difficult one. I mean, it could go either way. So they're two fantastic teams, and I think, in my opinion, the one of them who goes through to the final will be the big favorites to go to win that final, in my opinion. So yeah, my conviction. So it's part of the France, and Bayern Munich have gone there and beat them in the league phase, even though it doesn't mean much compared to this game. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be a great game between these two. 2-2 draw. So guys, thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.